trusting the process also means putting in the work, because you just can't expect the process to work for you if you don't give your share then.
What does it mean to trust the process? For this episode, let's hear the story of fashion stylists, 37-year-old Rain Dagala and 38-year-old Em Millan, from being office mates in their corporate job to pursuing styling as a hobby to taking the leap a decade ago and starting their own styling and now consultancy firm Team RainxEm. What was their journey like? And why choose to do it together? This is Trust the Process, a Paano Ba To special series. Welcome back to Paano Ba To, Rain and Em. Yay!
Hello, B.
Ngayon, medyo kakaiba naman ang pag-uusapan natin kasi career journey ninyo.
Oh,
Yes.
biruin mo yun.
Yes. And I wanted to start dun sa turning point ng career ninyo because there are so many people who dream of or want to quit their day job to pursue something they're more passionate about. And you both were able to do that successfully. So tell us that story. How was that leap like from working in corporate? How long did it take? May targets ba to? Or this is just like a take the leap kind of thing? So go ahead.
I mean, I started as management trainees and ended as marketing manager for a local FMCG company. After 5 years, ginagawa na namin yung 5-year marketing plan namin. And I realized after that, gusto ko talaga mag-fashion styling. So I went to fashion school. So I took a certificate course in fashion styling. And then, na-realize ko while studying, at saya-saya ko. As in, sobrang saya. Sabi nga, sige girl, tulungan na lang kita. Mag-style ka na. Ang setup namin is parang ad agency. Si Em yung accounts, ako yung creative. And we were pitching doon sa mga katrabaho naming ad agencies. Naku, nagsastyle na kami. So since I believe mababait kaming mga client, the first jobs that we booked were given to us by the advertising agencies we work with.
From client, because of your connection to agency, naging supplier din kayo
Naging
ni
supplier
agency.
kami on the side.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Tapos parang talagang it gave me that sense of fulfillment na hindi ko na nararamdaman sa corporate. Nag-ayos lang ako ng mga plano. Nag-alala yung parents ko doon sa decision na gagawin ko kasi we were earning well. We were given benefits. And bigla akong lilipat sa isang mundo na hindi ako sure as a freelancer with low salaries, kinabahan yung parents ko. So, in my case, I made a timeline. And nung nagawa ko yung timeline na yun, that's when I decided to move into ABS-CBN publishing, but as a publisher muna, para slow yung transition.
Ako naman, parang nung nag-start naman kami as marketeers, it wasn't that I wasn't passionate at what I was doing. I actually loved what I was doing, but I knew I wanted to do it for myself as a boss and not as an employee for someone. I knew I could have a bigger story. I knew I could do it at a bigger scale. But I didn't really think about it when Rain was telling me about it. Kasi parang feeling ko nga, it was like really on the side, weekends thing. Tapos, as accounts lang ako, I just had fun with it because I loved being organized. Yung mga billings, ganyan-ganyan lang siya.
Yung calendar.
Oo. But of course, not to say that I wasn't enjoying or I wasn't passionate about fashion. Pero I wasn't just as technical as Rain that I went to school for it. But I knew I also enjoyed what Rain was doing. Looking back at that story, parang feeling ko, it was not because I was unhappy, but I knew I had a bigger plan for myself. Even my parents were also worried na parang why would people pay you to tell other people what to wear. It was a very new industry back then. And yun yung parang mga naging hesitations din ng people around us.
You stayed longer in corporate. Rain, nag-corporate ka, then you also did publishing. So I wanted to ask, ano yung skills na nakuha nyo from your previous jobs na feeling nyo super crucial at nagamit nyo ng bongga in your business now as stylists?
Parang number one, the business sense talaga. As in, I am proud to say, when it comes to treating styling as a business, I know Em and I at the forefront of it. We established Team RainxEm as a brand with different business units. Number two, the strategic planning and branding. It helped me personally as a creative, define who we were as stylists in a sea of aspiring stylists. Number three, feeling ko din, our corporate job allowed us to understand the perspective of all the parties involved when we do our jobs as a stylist. We understand client perspective, we understand supplier perspective. That helped us so much. Ganyan sa akin.
Well, for me, it's really the business acumen. So whenever we take on a new client, for example, is there a gap in our portfolio that a new client will fill? Hindi lang kami yung parang get lang ng get. We don't want our resources spread too thinly as well, even our creativity. Kasi yun din yung iniisip namin na like our advantage, because not just the clothes that you wear, we also have imagery in terms of styling. To us every year, and we also have our annual business planning, but we do our targets for the year, how many clients we want to have for the year, how many advertising jobs, what do we want to showcase for this year's events. It's really a planned thing for us, because at the end of the day, it has to serve us and not just be in it for just pure passion for the job.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you two, until now, na-amaze ako. Kasi one thing that you two are able to pull off na big challenge para sa maraming tao is being in business together as friends, right?
Hi.
Minsan sinasabi nila, wag magnegosyo kasama ang kaibigan.
Yes.
So how do
Yes.
you two manage that?
Sa akin talaga, honesty. And yung parang yung mga times na nag-away kami ni Em ng major, which is just parang sa libro ko 2 times. Yun yung naging issue, honesty. Kasi kami ni Em, since we go way back 2005 na corporate job, parang when we decided to do business together, we were supporting each other despite and in spite of. So parang feeling ko talaga ang malaking is honesty and acceptance of what can M give, what can I give her, what can I not give. Yung alam mo yan, yung talagang honesty.
Honesty, acceptance, I guess sacrifice also, yung sinabi ni Rain on both your parts.
Oo,
Give and
bigayan.
take. How about you? Anong gusto mo
To
idagdag
me,
doon?
when I step back and see like how the journey went, feeling ko before we became friends, we were office mates. And then when we were office mates, saka kami naging mag-best friend, saka na siya nabuo from there. So I think hindi siya the other way around. Na feeling namin ang hirap yung friends muna, saka mo i-establish yung professionalism kasi pabaliktad. Second, pera. Kasi hindi lang friends, kahit relatives, kahit mag-asawa, kahit magbiyenan, pag issue sa money, di ba, natitibag ng pera. But when Rain and I were starting, it was very clear how income would be for the both of us.
Aligned na kaming dalawa. Even if there were times in our friendship, it appeared na, nako, baka hindi na kami aligned. Nag-iiba lang, nag-evolve lang. Pero yung core, yun pa rin.
Yeah.
And napag-uusapan siya. You can be honest, tapos walang na-offend. You can be honest and not feel that you are a bad person. And that takes a certain level talaga of maturity, experience, years. So hindi siya nakukuha over dinner.
2 things. One is that everything that you shared actually applies, feeling ko, to marriage and relationships. Like lahat, parang checklist yan, recipe for a good marriage. And second is, I love that you mentioned that about the complementing ng skills ninyo, ng values ninyo. Because the reason why I invited you to here sa series na Trust the Process. Usually, it's a solo guest sharing their career journey. Pero I wanted also to show a story that you don't necessarily have to do it on your own. I mean, nobody makes it alone without the help of others. And yours is a perfect story of a partnership that is worth emulating. Wow. Ay, tagay.
Totoo yan.
This is also one way to go about your journey, right?
Kasi
When you
alam mo,
find someone who compliments you. Okay, I just want to end this with a few quick questions. I ask this to all the guests here on Trust the Process. First, what is one thing you feel you did right in your journey?
Planning. I think it's important to trust the process. But do your part then. You do your part. You plan for yourself. You envision a future that you want. You do what is needed of you before you trust the process and know that it will turn out for the best. Hindi lang siya parang bahala na, parang ganon, you know.
Yeah.
You,
Ikaw
you
naman,
put in the
Rain.
work, yes.
One thing you did right.
Timing. Maganda yung timing. Kasi great things start from small beginning.
Oh, may
Diba?
quote din
Before
siya.
you earn-
Sorry.
Oo, diba? Pero before you earn the fruits of your labor, takes time.
Yeah.
Diba?
Okay, next. For both of you, please fill in the blanks. Please say, for me, trusting the process means blank.
Trusting the process also means putting in the work because you just can't expect the process to work for you if you don't give your share then.
Second, trusting the process is also not blaming the process if it doesn't work for you. Parang
Yes.
every failure or every setback as an opportunity. It may not appear immediately, pero you allow yourself to have an open mind and heart. Discover what it is.
Gandang reminder. And last, what is one advice you wish you knew when you were starting that you'd like to share to those na nagsisimula pa lang ngayon? Ay, lalim ng isip nilang dalawa. Oh.
Feeling ko, meron ka pa ring market. Somebody would still hire you as a creative with your point of view. Feeling ko kasi when I was starting, I had a lot of self-doubt na parang, am I creative enough? Am I good at this? Because nga of the fears na baka it can't sustain our lifestyle or baka I'm giving up a corporate job for something I'm less good at. If I could go back in time and give myself advice, it would be that have confidence in my point of view and in my creative vision, kumbaga. Kasi there will still someone who will appreciate that and those are the jobs that you will book, kumbaga.
Yeah, ganda. How about you, Miss Rain?
Maraming trabaho para sa lahat. Huwag tayo mag-away-away sa work. Na-realize ko na ang laki-laki pala ng mundo. Yung habang lahat tayo dito nagsasapakan, meron pala opportunity sa ibang lugar. Parang,
Ay, naghang siya. Habang wala si Rain dahil hindi po namin alam kung nag-brown out or or
Or
namatay ang
nagbayad ba siya ng
battery.
internet?
Thank you, Miss M!
Thank you,
Rain!
Miss B.
Rain, kung nasan ka man, maraming salamat and thank you sa pag-share muli sa Paano Ba To. Love it. Thank you, Em!
Thank you, thank you!
thank you, B. Suking-suking na sa paano ba to? At least hindi naman tungkol sa love yung chinika ko this time. Kasi lagi na lang puro sa love. Now, by the way, one of the most viewed episodes ever in Paano Ba To history. So, forte ko na talaga yung hindi nakakatuluyan yung jowa. And update lang, yung nakikwento ko na yun, hindi rin kami nag-workout kasi nare-realize ko, love you, B, always.